Hey, I did a review a long time ago and an unboxing video of the Forma adventure riding boots, and I promised in that video I would do a follow-up. So here is a follow-up to that video of the Forma tall adventure riding boots. Welcome to Urban Monk TV. Quite a bit of oil in this car. It's my daughter's car. I needed to do this morning, so we'll kill two birds with one stone. I've owned these Forma brand adventure riding boots for a couple of years now, and I said that I would wear them and give my impressions over the long term. Here's what's happened with that since I bought those boots and since I did that video. So one of the things I did was I started wearing them around town as I rode, and the first thing I noticed right away was a difficulty in shifting. I was missing upshifts, and I pinpointed the problem for that as being the fact that from the bottom of the sole to the top of the toe on these boots, it's a much bigger dimension than on my hiking boots that I before tended to wear as I rode. Now the hiking boots, as I pointed out in my previous video, and if you want to see that video, here's a link to it. So my initial impressions were there. The hiking boots are extremely comfortable, and I do like to ride places where I then walk. For example, on my trip around the United States, and I rode across the country here last summer and did a series called Palms, Pines, and Fishing Lines. You can find that. Here is episode 1, the beginning of that 24 episode series. And on that trip, I was riding a lot, but then camping and doing a lot of hiking. And that's one of the things that I enjoy doing is riding somewhere, setting up camp, and then getting on foot and exploring. And I had a really good time doing that. So the question before that trip was, do I bring these Forma adventure riding boots and then a pair of hiking boots or not? Well, prior to taking that trip, I had done quite a bit of test riding with these things around town, and I'll tell you, it was difficult as I was missing those shifts. I had to think so much about pulling up my toe to make those upshifts, and it became cumbersome. I certainly could do it, but it was annoying. You know, that's around town riding, right? It's not adventure riding. Some of you may be saying, well, adjust the position of your gear shift lever. I did that. So that essentially means taking the adjuster off of the shaft, the shift shaft, and moving it one notch so that the lever rides either lower or higher in its resting, neutral position. After having done that, it was easier to make those upshifts, but the problem is that on those days where I didn't want to wear the motorcycling boots, where I was going to do some walking, then I wanted my hiking boots, and then the downshifts felt strange. Like I had to lift my foot up to where the heel came off of the foot peg and make that downshift. And so either way, shifting for me became an awkward thing on my particular motorcycle. Now this may differ on other bikes. Mine's a Suzuki V-Strom. So technically an adventure bike, but really an adventure bike with a lot of street DNA in it. Frankly, the engine comes from a racing bike, and the frame too comes from a street bike, and they just kind of adventured it up a bit, right? So um, that caveat to my experience. Your experience may be different. Sorry, I got oil on my shirt. One of my favorite shirts. So dumb, right? So I had to change shirts, but I also changed the oil filter. Now, of course, the adventure boots from Forma go up over my ankle and onto my shins quite a bit, where the hiking boots do not go quite as high, but they are Keens. They have a very hard toe to them, and they offer quite a bit of protection over a normal shoe, and that's been fine for me. I normally preach ATGAT for the most part, ATGAT being acronym for all the gear, all the time. And the shoes thing is where maybe I make a little bit of a compromise, but I don't ride with tennis shoes. I don't ride with anything that isn't a leather, durable boot. Essentially, no shoes but boots. Um, but the Forma do provide more protection in an accident. Do I have any vital organs in my ankles and my shins? No, I don't. So, some of this is just a compromise of risk for me. Make your own choice there. It's your shins, your ankles, that kind of thing. My Keens are heavy duty. They do provide some protection, and they do go up the ankle some. So that's essentially where I'm at. Is I have opted more often to wear the Keens, and the Forma boots are not getting used much. In fact, the gear shift lever on my bike has been returned to the original stock position because that's just what's comfortable for me. Another pair of boots I find myself wearing a lot are the combat boots that I was issued in basic training a long time ago when I was a young airman in the Air Force Reserves at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. So those boots, one, have held up really well over the years, decades, frankly. But two, that same dimension, bottom of sole to top of toe, is it's narrower, and the shifting is just much easier. And there's a lot of flexibility in the ankle there, so shifting it's just a breeze. I do not miss shifts, and I shift very efficiently. So all in all, I think it really comes down to your riding style. If you're riding the street mainly, and you like to hike or walk like me, then maybe these Formas aren't for you. If you value absolute, utter protection overall, then the boots are built well, the Forma boots, and I think they would be fine if you went trudging through some water. But they don't give any arch support for me, not like my Keens. I would not want to walk for miles in them. I don't even want to walk for blocks in them, frankly. And then I don't like the way the shifting feels, or the fact that I'm missing shifts. That's a safety hazard, right? If I expect that I'm going to be accelerating and then I miss a shift and I'm not accelerating, but I've got maybe some traffic barreling down behind me, can be a safety issue. So I lean toward having full, utter, total control over what's happening with my bike. And for me, I got to make those shifts to feel like that I am in control. So really, that's it. I'm not wearing these Forma boots much. I guess I regret purchasing them for my situation. I may sell them and see what I can get back out of them. They're not very worn. So hey, I appreciate you watching this video. If you want to check out my book and you like motorcycling, it's called Creating Mr. Corton. It can be purchased on urbanmonktv.com. And you can also find the entire Palms, Pines, and Fishing Lines cross-country adventure series there in order. easily clickable. And then if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to become an urban monk. Thanks for watching.